and that is something that they do as a partnership with our organization. So thank you to them. So as we've talked about with these meetings, right, we have a few different objectives that we're setting in there, one of which is to make our staff available to people throughout the year rather than oftentimes with block clubs, right, you have one person that's coming out on a consistent basis that gets our staff to be available to the entirety of the community, and also to be able to talk about the things that we as an organization are doing, right, and kind of separate that from things other people are doing in the neighborhood. And so with that, we have a handful of things that we want to go through tonight going on here, including our upcoming board elections, talk about a home repair program that our organization is putting on. You'll hear directly from Julie on that. Announce our small business grant program award recipients for round 2, something that Donna Gregonis-Bailey, who's back from maternity leave, congratulations, Donna, has done a lot of great work making come to fruition, along with Harness Cycle. And then we want to talk about a new type of fundraiser that we want to have this year. You know, again, one of the things, as we kind of come out of the global pandemic, right, I think it's so good to be able to come out and see people again on a daily basis, but I think we also realize that our past fundraiser, there may not be so many people willing to open to their home for a couple hundred people to traipse through just yet. And so looking for new ways to do that. And then again, as we want to make sure that there's information available to the community, whichever part of the neighborhood that you live in. I'm sure a lot of you have seen those kind of creative hangars go up on the corner of West 28th Street and Church Avenue, and want to make sure that everyone has the information on what is happening there. And new businesses is going to be coming and maybe serving multiple businesses through that. So you'll hear about that. And so with that, that was the welcome. That was me, Tom McNair. Sitting on there. I want to give everyone an update on our board elections. So Ohio City Incorporated, again, I report to a 20-member board of directors. Of that, we have 12 resident elected members, and they run on 3-year terms. So there are 4 seats up for election. We have a couple, Diane Howard, and we also have, I'm sorry, so what's your name? Steve Mott, who is doing some work in the neighborhood, right? So we have a couple board candidates who are here tonight, and encourage you guys to get to, Jonathan Floyd. So we do have 3 board candidates that are here tonight. Pleasure. And so we encourage you to kind of mingle with them and get to know them a little bit more throughout the evening. And so our board elections are on next Tuesday, May 24th. That are going on. So membership is closed. You do have to be a member of our organization to vote in those elections. Lisa Raber, who is sitting right back there. Hello, Lisa. Yes, we should clap for Lisa. She does a lot of work for us at our office, right? So Lisa can certainly let you know if you are a member of the organization. You can also reach out to her at lraber, R-A-B-E-R, at ohiocity.org if you have questions on that. This year we will be having in-person voting in 2 locations, right? So one of those locations is going to be in our offices on 3308 Lorraine Avenue across from Planet Fitness from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Again, I think those of you who have come to a couple of these meetings, you know, have heard about our new racial equity framework that we've laid in place. You know, I think that that is one of the reasons that we took a look at this. We are also this year for the first time having a polling location inside Lakeview Estates. That is going on. That will be open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We'll also provide transportation for members who live in Riverview to be able to get to those voting locations. And we think that that is important to move forward. Again, absentee ballots, right? You can get those today if you are here and you're not going to be able to vote in person. Lisa can help you in the back there get an absentee ballot. She will kind of check you out. And she'll give you a ballot. We must receive those in our office by the end of business on May 24th. So that is something that you can mail, you can drop off, but as long as we collect them by the time the polls close at 7 p.m. on the 24th, they will be counted. So again, those can be picked up today from Lisa. Those can also be picked up in our office Monday through Friday at 9 p.m., 5 p.m., and picked up anytime by 7 p.m. on the 24th. Our board members do count the ballots. That no staff is involved in that, right? It is the board only counting that. Board members who are up for re-election are not allowed to be a part of that. And again, we will announce the following days the winners of the election. So With that, I would like to introduce Julie Dalhausen, a community engagement specialist who works both in our office and with Tremont West. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. So Tom is always great on the microphone. I will be using notes tonight. I wanted to thank you for joining us. I am Julie Dalhausen. I am the Community Engagement Specialist with Ohio City Incorporated. My position was created under the Jackson administration as a part of the Healthy Homes Initiative. HHI is a partnership between the City of Cleveland and CDCs. It seeks to improve the quality of life of our residents through enhancements to the housing stock. So immediately, we recognized the need for accessible and affordable home repair opportunities in our neighborhood. In that effort, we created an in-house home repair program through Ohio City, Inc. Our 2022 program offers financial assistance towards exterior housing repairs for Ohio City residents at no cost to the homeowner. We largely look to address health and safety concerns on the property, like a crumbling porch or a leaking roof. Though there are income guidelines to the program, we intentionally raised the level of income accepted in order to catch the fall through the cracks properties that may not be able to apply for other programming. Year 2 of our home repair program will begin on July 1st, though we are happy to accept applications immediately. Oh, I have to hit the button, don't I? So this property is our most recent success story. It's really special to my heart. This is a beautiful 3-bedroom property on Carroll Avenue. It was built in 1900. Most of the properties on Carroll were also built in 1900, but some go back as early as 1854. This property is occupied by a 90-year-old named Mary and a 73-year-old named Mike. They're amazing. When they first applied to the program, we did an assessment of the home, and we, with the homeowner, agreed that the priority would be the porch repair. You can see the one in the front there, and then the next slide will show you 2 porches in the back. Obviously, there are other repairs that are needed on the home, but for Mary and Mike, who struggle with mobility issues, the steps were a safety hazard every time they left their home. So through the modest funding of our home repair program, we were able to completely tear out and replace these porches for our residents, who oftentimes are the most vulnerable and the most forgotten. So this to me, I'm so proud of this work, and this is how the program is intended to work, and I hope to continue that. In addition to our program, I'm here to connect you with other city, county, private, and nonprofit grants and affordable loans to assist you with your home repair needs. This includes the City of Cleveland's paint program, which offers up to $600 in free paint and supplies. Ohio City has a uniquely beautiful housing stock. We here at Ohio City, Inc. understand how important it is to preserve that integrity and treat our homes with the respect and the structural maintenance that they need and that they deserve. If you need home repair or you need to know someone that does, please join me at the resource table in the back, and I would be more than happy to discuss your options with you. Thank you for your time, and I hope that I can be of assistance to you. And up next, we have my amazing, lovely coworker, Donna Grigonis Bailey.
Hi everyone, I'm Donna Grigonis, for those of you who I don't know, which aren't that many, which is kind of nice to be in a room full of people that I'm familiar with for the most part. I'm the Director of Neighborhood Development, and what that means is if you are looking to open up a business or figure out questions that are related to zoning or variances and the approval process or the community engagement process, which seemingly is very difficult for people outside of our community to navigate, even within our community, as some of you are all too familiar with. That is something that I can help you with and look forward to continuing to help people. But with that work, so in 2021, of course, we all know we are in a global pandemic that still exists, and we're still dealing with those issues today. But we partnered with Harness Cycle, and we started an Ohio City Small Business Grant. And our goal was to raise $15,000 to provide relief to merchants in Ohio City. And we were trying to focus that initiative to businesses that specifically had a storefront and the first round was for long-term business owners or female-owned or minority-owned, is who we're really trying to focus on raising money for, because the PPP programs and some of the other city programs, a lot of these businesses didn't know how to apply, or they didn't exactly qualify, or there was still a need that was unmet, and they couldn't necessarily take out a loan. So they were looking for, even $500 to help them, give their employees a little bit of a pay raise or a little bit of a bonus. So the funds were raised through merchandise purchases, a raffle contest, direct donations, and our organization also matched funds for this program. So we ended up giving out 10 small grants of $1,500 each to small businesses in Ohio City in the first round, which took place in 2021. And these were given to directly assist the businesses who have struggled, and many of them continue to struggle through the pandemic that we're currently facing. So now we have just raised the funds for round 2 of the Small Business Fund with Harness Cycle again. And the initiative has been referred to as the Don't Give Up the Ship fundraising campaign. And again, the goal of these small business grants is to provide a tiny bit of financial relief to merchant businesses around the neighborhood as a way to help offset the impact of the pandemic. So a lot of these began, so we started the second round of funding during Giving Tuesday, and that is when we launched it, and we said we wanted to have another goal of $15,000, and when we finally reached that goal, we would donate to businesses who applied anywhere from, we kind of left it open, but the cap was $3,000, so people could write in exactly what they wanted to use it for. And of course, the need outweighed the money that we raised, but we did reach our goal of $15,000, and the recipients don't know they won yet, so today we will announce who won. So the amount was anywhere between $3,000 and $750. I won't go into specifics about exactly how much they're receiving, but our recipients this year are Horizontal Books. If you guys haven't been there in a while, go visit them, because they still exist, and we're lucky to have a bookstore in our neighborhood. Jukebox, one of our favorite watering holes, of course. Beet Jar, Bloom and Clover. That's a waxing boutique if anyone needs to get their eyebrows waxed or anything else, in case you're not familiar. Bookhouse Brewing, Alea, Third Eye Oracle. And Third Eye Oracle opened up during the pandemic. If you're not familiar with it, it's a yoga studio. And I learned, and I wasn't aware of this, that they also provide mental health services, like, I guess, pseudo-therapy. I'm not exactly sure, but they've provided a lot of help for people dealing with anxiety and other things as well, which I thought was interesting. And then Rose Parlor, which is a female-owned boutique, and she has a hair salon in the back, and in the front is a boutique that sells new and upcycled items. And then Fit Cleveland, a long-term Ohio City resident who he has a personal training studio. And then Phnom Penh, which is on 25th, which many people may have forgotten about for a while, but they're still around, and they have fabulous food and can accommodate large groups of people also on a short notice if you're thinking of going somewhere new that you haven't been to in a long time. But yeah, so those are our recipients. And again, the application was intended to be really easy. We wanted the barrier of entry to be something easy, and some of the recipients weren't able to, for whatever reason, didn't fill out the application totally, and I would call them, and I sort of screened a lot of the applicants and asked them, what they're using it for, And I wish we had $1 million to give all of the businesses money, but we had to prioritize. So again, we have businesses up to receiving up to $3,000. So these are our winners. They found out today, right now. So I don't think they know, actually. I'm going to have to call them tomorrow and let them know that they won. So, and if you're watching, you can come to the office and pick up your check and a little goodie bag anytime during normal business hours. Yeah. So special thanks to Ann Harnett at Harness Cycle and Caroline Dillabaugh from Harness for all their hard work in helping to make this program a reality. I'm so proud that we were able to raise $30,000 overall, and it was really grassroots. A lot of it came from people that some of them didn't even live in the neighborhood, which was wonderful too, and it just proves that we have such a strong community, and our small businesses really are the lifeblood of our community, and we need help to support them. So try not to buy so much stuff online. I'm guilty, so try to go there instead. Anyway, I'm rambling. But yeah, thanks again, and if anyone wants to give us money online too, please, we'll give it to the small businesses. So thanks.
Hi, everybody. I am new to the organization, so most of you probably don't know me, but I'm Katy Baumbach. I'm the new director of marketing here at Ohio City and Tremont West. And today I just have a very quick commercial for some news that's coming down the line here in the next couple of weeks. It's been a while since our organization has had a fundraiser outside of what Donna just talked about. I'm talking about more for our services in terms of what we do out in the community outside of small businesses, but also our small businesses as well. In the past, one of our very popular ones has been Evening in Ohio City, and I know we're all going to miss it a lot, but we are not going to be doing it this year just due to the ongoing pandemic and people just not being ready to have people into their homes or being ready to go into other people's homes. So much in the same vein, we're going to try something where it pulls people into the neighborhood, but it's going to pull people through small businesses. And as Donna had mentioned, there are a lot of small businesses that make up the fabric of Ohio City and make it as special, as part of the reason that Ohio City is as special as it is, are all these great businesses that are owned by people within the community and outside of the community. So without further ado, and again, this is just a very high-level teaser, and we'll have more information here in the next couple of weeks, but we're going to be holding a fundraiser called the Ohio City Open, which will basically function as a miniature golf course that weaves through the neighborhood and goes through small businesses in the neighborhood. We're aiming for August of this summer. We're just finalizing the date on that, and then we are looking for volunteers, any businesses that would want to be involved, and additional sponsors. To get information or to sign up for it, please join us at ohiocityopen.com. There's a form there that you can fill it out, and we'll keep you apprised of when registration is open. And it'll function similar to like a regular golf tournament where you have a foursome, and there'll be prizes for holes in one, costumes, and all that good stuff. So we're really excited to try something new and support our small businesses as well as show people everything that Ohio City has to offer. So we're very excited about it. So thank you. And next up is actually, speaking of small businesses, something that's very exciting that's going to be coming to the corner of West 28th Street and Church, which is City Goods at the Creative Hangars. So let me introduce Sam Friedman, the founder and director, and Liz Painter, the general manager. And we're going to do questions after this, right? So hold questions to the end, and we'll have you up when we're ready. Thanks.
It's all right. I am going to use a microphone. I love microphones. All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Sam Friedman, and this is Liz Painter. We, first of all, appreciate you inviting us here tonight. Thank you, Katy. Thank you, Tom. Thanks, Donna. So we're going to tell you a little bit about City Goods project tonight. The creative hangars are not ours. The creative hangars were developed by Graham Vasey, who is a developer here in town and has created a lot of the Hingetown neighborhood. He's developed the Church and State project that's currently there. And he saw this idea in Detroit for these small hangar-like edifices and thought they could be interesting to put here in the Hingetown neighborhood. So they've been developed, they're his creation, they're his buildings. I'm the one who swooped in with the idea of City Goods. And the idea of City Goods is about supporting small business. We're trying to basically make a very accessible space and a very sustainable space, meaning that one, the small businesses here in town can open a shop, and two, they will maintain that shop open over some time, hopefully longer than the usual 12, 18 months that shops open and close here in town. I have a business of my own. It's the Chagrin Valley Soap and Salve Company. We're a family business. We've been around almost 20 years, and we are mostly internet-based. But I do have a small store down at the 5th Street Arcade in the historic Gateway District downtown, and I see the pain points every day for many years now of the small business makers here in Cleveland. There's a few things that I've been able to assess over the years when looking at those pain points, and I've boiled it down to really, I think, a few things. One is that there aren't a lot of areas in town that have high foot traffic. Cleveland is not traditionally, over the last half century, a living and working city, so you don't end up with walking traffic and shoppers on the daily basis. Ohio City has become a bit transformative over the last few years, and the Hingetown neighborhood is now becoming very dense, with residents and with shops and with people working and living together in a neighborhood that looks like a patchwork of what America looks like. I think that's novel in Cleveland for some time, and I think it's great that that's now happening. So with that happening, we have foot traffic, and I think most folks in town realize that that's what's required for small business retail to survive. Secondly, there's the issue of rent. Rent in Cleveland can be tricky. In Cleveland, there are great opportunities to pay a lot of money and get what we can call prime real estate. Obviously, a small maker who's in their home looking to step out doesn't have that kind of resource. But the other issue is here in Cleveland, there's that dangling fish hook with a worm called cheap rent. And that exists too. But the problem is those cheap rents don't put people in a place where they're going to succeed. And so people see it from afar and it looks great, and then they take this gamble with their resources and they open a shop and they put their passion and effort into it, and then it closes. And so those folks can't be off in those cheap rent areas, but they can't afford the high rent. And then you add one more piece into that equation, and that's employment. You know, who's running these shops? And what I see when I go to the little shops is the person who owns the business is running the little shop. And if you own a company and if you're trying to produce a product and you have to live a life and have a family, there's no way you can be working 40, 50 some hours a week, opening and closing and standing behind a counter. And so when you see those barriers, you realize that the system certainly works against you. And if you're a minority, extra hard. And so we look at how we can remove those barriers, and the model that I see, and I've seen this in really interesting ways throughout the country, is a shared space model and a shared staff model, where you have one space, where you have lots of shops, and you have one checkout. And so in that idea, I came upon the hangars, and I thought this could be such a great community space in this corner. If someone was able to take over that corner, and you can see the corner now, and take these buildings and make them all a collective of those small businesses. And so what we have now is this concept. And how are we doing that? I've created an LLC that's taking over a lease of all of these buildings. And in order to generate some profit to help us with operations, the one building on the corner, the largest building on the corner of 28th and Church, is going to be a bar called The Hangar. It's going to be a small cocktail bar that's going to have local beer and wine from Cleveland purveyors that you'll be able to also buy to go and to drink. And in the other buildings, we're going to be housing a handful of small businesses. We can fit anywhere from 4 to 6, likely, small companies in any one of these hangar buildings. And so with all combined, we can put easily about 20 to 25 businesses housed under a certain group of categories. And then each one of those businesses is going to be able to share the rent, share the employment, share the utilities, and have the on-site bar to help defer the project. It has built-in management, it has built-in marketing, and it basically is giving every resource to a maker. So if you have a small company, you can now come, take a little space in one of these hangars, set up your products, set up your items, and then take off. And your responsibility is only to make sure the products get stocked there as they're sold, but we'll be staffing it, we'll be marketing it, we'll be managing it, and we'll be supporting it by having things like on-site events, outdoor pop-up markets throughout the weekend, cultural events, the bar, Doug Katz's brand new restaurant, Amba, all these very exciting things that are happening on that square. One of the things I didn't mention much is that on the weekends when the weather's good, we do plan to have outdoor pop-up markets for the vendor then that isn't quite established enough or willing to commit yet to take some small space in a building. They can pay the little table fee and pop up on the weekend, sell their product, get familiar with the community and us, and maybe take a stepping stone to get into one of the buildings in the future. I don't know if these are the categories that we're currently sort of filling in our buildings. We have home goods, we have pet goods, we have skincare and wellness products, jewelry, clothing, and apparel. Really most all the categories that small Cleveland business makers are falling under. And this is really what is included when you kind of buy the package. So if you pay us rent, and it's what we think is a very low and fair rent for all inclusive, you get the space, you get the utilities, you get the staff, you get the marketing, you get the management. And what's really cool is you even can technically choose to work if you're a maker and you'd like to staff your building, you'd like to be part of it, you certainly then don't have to pay any of that monthly fee for staffing. The cost is now even lower, and you can certainly be there yourself. We're trying to provide options and lower barriers for whatever works best for certain people. So this is what the current equation looks like. We've broken down by square footage the options that are out there, and we have some options that go down as low as about 100 square feet and about as high as maybe 175 square feet, which is the shop I currently have downtown now. It's about 175 square feet. It houses my 350 skincare products, so we know that that's sufficient for most brands, but here we're going smaller to large. And so the rent, the utilities, the staff, and the marketing can all go on a range, but basically for as low as anywhere from $22 up to $45 for the lowest to the highest range in this equation, you can have a shop. And we'd be open 6 days a week. And so if you're able to make $20 or $30 ever in sales average over a day, you can put yourself into one of these hangars and try to grow a business, access the public, be part of something really exciting that's now happening in Hingetown. The people that can apply, you do have to be handmade, you do have to be local, you do have to be a greater Cleveland area business, you have to have been established, so you have to have a name to your brand, a business card, a logo, a couple basic things, nothing fancy. You can certainly still be out of your home. And as long as you've kind of fit that basic bill, we're happy to hear from you and try and work with you. One of the really cool things about this project is we're working with so many great community development groups and even groups that are willing to help support the project, that we know that not only can we provide all this, but if people come to us who are really scarce on resource, we can provide some resources like micro-lending, interest-free loans, or things that would able to get someone to open up a shop in the part of the project. Obviously, we're looking for people that have the passions we do, so as long as you're somebody that's fitting these categories and are somewhat minded in the things we're minded in, like sustainability and inclusivity, this is certainly for you. We're looking for people to sign a real lease, so we're trying to start with a minimum of about 18 months, but we're happy to take that and maybe even negotiate a little. But for the most part, we're trying to stick with about an 18-month lease, and we're happy to go up to 3 years or so. And your only real commitment once you set up your shop is just to make sure that you can keep it stocked. And as long as that's something you can do, and this sounds interesting to you and you're part of the maker community, then you're good to go in. It's not a huge commitment, and that's kind of what we're hoping people understand, low barrier. And that's really that. We've been working on it for a while. We don't have an exact opening date, but we are looking midsummer this summer. And as these buildings are finished off and we start accepting applications, we're going to kind of start taking them on a somewhat first-come basis. So We are trying to close off our applications by the end of May. We've extended it a bit to give community groups a little more time, and we've put out the application even further this week. So if you're interested, there's contact information up here for Liz, and we really encourage people to ask questions, pass this information on to others that you know. Think about people in the community that might fit this project and share this information with them. And if not, when the project does open, come, shop. The way that Donna and Katy talked already tonight about small business and what that means for the community and how Ohio City can kind of rest on some of that. We're trying to, really quintuple the amount of small businesses within a week of us opening that are there in Ohio City. And you guys coming and supporting, our little tagline we're using a lot is purchase with a purpose, because if you come here and you spend $1 here, you are genuinely not only helping the person who you just gave $1 to, who's one of your neighbors, but you're supporting this entire project, which is supporting 20-some small businesses in these buildings and 50-some a week with the market. So it's a great project for all of us to kind of try to get behind, and we certainly appreciate your time and are happy to answer any questions that you might have. Yeah.
The 100 to 175 feet that you're planning to share facility, does that accommodate what, 2 to 3 people, or 1 or 2? Okay. For the space size of 100, 175 square feet, does that typically represent 1 or 2 or 3 people?
That's for one business. Each one of these buildings has a floor space and a mezzanine. Each one of the floors can range between 300 to 400 and 500 square feet, and the mezzanines 200 to 400 square feet. So we're dividing those up. So you're going to walk into a small hangar, and there would be 3 businesses on the ground floor and maybe 1 larger one upstairs, or 4 small businesses on the first floor and 2 small ones upstairs. So each business will get a minimum of 100 square feet or up to 150 if they're larger and they need it. If you're a jeweler, you could fit your business within 90 to 100 square feet. And if you're maybe an apparel business with clothes to display, you would take one of the 160 spaces, for example.
And are they warm in the winter?
Oh, yeah. We were in there today, and I can tell you they're nice and cool when it's really hot. And what's great is they're made with glass and plexi on all sides, so the sun comes in and it's really bright, but they're nice and climatized. Yeah. Other questions that we can answer? Excellent. Well, if you have them, please use this email address. Contact us at City Goods. Ohio City Inc. knows how to reach us directly, and we really appreciate your time and we really appreciate your support for the project. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Sam, and thank you, Liz. And again, real quickly too, I just want to point out one, thank you to Julie and all the work that she does. I think she was telling us the other day she has surveyed every single property in our neighborhood over the last 2 years, so 2,000 plus homes that she has gone through, and that program is really set up right. So I think it's a new way of doing like that code enforcement rather than somebody from the city going by and seeing something wrong and you get a nasty letter in the mail that says you must fix this, right? We have somebody that can go out and kind of see if there are problems, find out who's in that home, see if they're the type of people that need assistance, and then our organization has tried to create some resources and pair them with some city resources. So, thank you for the work that you do, and also to Donna for all the work that you put into the small business program. Again, when I think about some of the things that were being discussed today, right? You think about the historic housing stock of our neighborhood, the small businesses, and really the people that are here, right? That is the fabric of this community, and I think it's what makes it so special, and that was put on today. And then also thank you to Katy Baumbach, who's much smarter than me and was able to figure out how to plug all these things in pretty efficiently today, which was awesome. So again, and really thankful that these things are out there. So if you have questions for, Liz or Sam, right, you can reach out to them. This information, again, will live on our website, will be live streamed. I encourage you guys to get to know members running for the board, and please come out and vote if you're a member of our organization on Tuesday. These things do matter. And thank you all so much for coming out tonight. We'll be around for the next half hour or so to talk. All right. Ooh. Next month's meeting, I know that we do have on the schedule Cleveland Metropolitan School District is coming in to talk about some of the changes at Garrett Morgan that they're doing and any other school issues that are going on in the neighborhood. So we have confirmed them for the next monthly meeting, and we do make sure that these agendas are out a week in advance. So keep your eyes peeled. We'll get the word out. Again, thank you guys all so much for coming out tonight.